Okay, today is September the 7th, 21. I'm going to go ahead and start with the announcements, and then we'll begin with what we're going to do tonight. uh, I do have Malcolm and Damon on standby, and when we get to a certain point, I want to get them on so they can also explain and talk with people. But tonight we're going to share some more knowledge, but we're also going to take like a quick quiz. Um, I thought it'd be fun to do a little quiz for everybody before we get to what we're going to be doing tonight. And this is just to kind of see make sure everyone is caught up. And if you haven't, or maybe this is one of your first streams, or even if you just caught a few here and there, you need to watch every stream possible. I do think that they close up after 10 streams. I think they take them off. But please go back, watch those videos, catch up the best you can. And because when we're always progressing, we're always moving forward. So, again, if this is like one of your first times to watch a stream or just a couple, please go back and watch the rest and do like binge viewing and catch up pretty much where we are so you understand where we are now. It is advanced knowledge, so things that you see on another channel or something like that, you're not going to see here. We don't do what other people do. We have our own ways because we know about the Bigfoot, other predators, the history, and everything like that. So I'm going to go ahead and start. And today is September the 7th. And the announcements again are I do have two Facebook pages or group pages. That is Oklahoma Predator Watch. In the parentheses, it'll say antlers and surrounding areas. Also on Facebook is Choctaw Missing and Murdered Woman, WOMBMAN, and Son Center and Database. I'm still on Facebook Timeout, or jail as they call it. I'll still be there for about 17 or 18 more days, I think. But once I do get out of that probation thing, whatever it is, that this also streams to Facebook. So not only will it be streaming to YouTube, it'll be streaming to Facebook. So if you're not able to catch it live or on YouTube, you can always catch it on Facebook on the group page, Oklahoma Bigfoot Predator Watch, Antlers and Surrounding Areas. The next announcement is the museum. It is still just about open. So that is Chute Ranch Project, a Bigfoot experience. That's on 200 202nd Street. And whenever you get to 271, right there at that T, it's just two buildings up on your right, headed towards on 271. 271 East. It's right there. Damon's here. So Damon, I wanted to tell you that equipment will be on its way soon. I'll talk to a person who said that as soon as they can get whatever they need as far as the getting it through customs, I guess. They said that they will send it to you. But I think they're going to email me, and then I'm going to give them your email so that they'll mail it directly to you. And Malcolm, a friend, also would like to help with funds for a monitoring vehicle that you need. And I talked to you a little while earlier about that. So if you can send me that information, I'll give you that information, or I'll send that information to them so you two can get that worked out. The next thing I was want to talk about is that whenever groups go out or um, you see all these Bigfoot expeditions and things like that, when those groups go out and they don't know what they're doing, they're causing um, people to be endangered, I guess you would say, out there in these situations because these are predators. That if everyone was, like the movie Jaws, if everyone was like the captain, who had his own boat, had his own gear, knew what he was going up against, if every one of them knew the same thing and carried the same equipment, things like that, that movie would have turned out differently. And that's kind of what we're doing here. We're building people to be warriors, to be able to do what you have to do if you so have to, especially during an encounter. That we need everybody with the same mentality of, this isn't going to kill and eat me. This just, ran into the wrong warrior. So this is what we're doing. We're teaching everybody how to track, um, how to use thermals, how to look at your night vision, um, and knowledge of the Bigfoot and knowledge of creation, so that you know how this all has came to be so far. Okay. Malcolm's still not here. Got Damon right there. So I'm going to go ahead and go through with everything we're going to go through tonight. And the first question I was going to ask, because I want to give like a little test, and some people can answer uh, these questions. And the first one was, what do we not let our reasoning do to us when? What do we not let our reasoning do to us? And Malcolm and Damon, y'all don't have to answer these. This is for like the viewers and people who has been keeping up. I just want to make sure that they know a little bit more, and I'm just running a few test questions to see if they're still caught up the way they should be. I still don't see Faith Walker in the regular group yet, but there are some extra viewers tonight. So, and the first question was, what do we not let our reasoning do to us? Uh, when normal people see something, our minds do this. What do we not do? What do we not let our reasoning do to us? And I'll give just a few seconds. And I'll move on because there's not too many in the room tonight. So I'm just going to read these off, and then I'll give a little bit, and then I'll go further. That way they can always watch later and know that's the questions that we had asked. What do we not let our reasoning do to us? When normal people see something, our minds do this. And that answer is, we do not let our reasoning change it to something that our mind can handle. That is very dangerous. Like if we're seeing a Bigfoot, we have to acknowledge, we have to stay focused and not let our reasoning change it into a bear or a puppy, or because your mind will change it to something that you can handle. Even if it's a bear, your mind will still change it to that instead of what it's really looking at. It wants something that you can handle, but that's also very dangerous because you're not seeing what you're seeing for what it is. So never let your reasoning change what you're seeing. See it for what it is. Always see it for what it is, because your eyes tell you what is there. Okay. Now, when you hear a single frog, a single bird, a single cricket, a single locust, a group of coyotes that just don't quite sound like a pack of coyotes. And the question is, what does a warrior do? When all this starts happening around them, single cricket, the single locust, a group of coyotes that just don't quite sound like a pack of coyotes. What does a warrior do? Hey, Faith Walker. Good to see you. Good to hear from you. We're on probably the second or third question right now. And this question here is, when you hear a single frog, a single bird, a single cricket, a single locust, a group of coyotes that just don't quite sound like a pack of coyotes, what does a warrior do? And then the next question after that is, what does a warrior do if he sees the biggest, most vicious, monstrous predator? What does the warrior do if he sees the most vicious, biggest, monstrous predator standing right in front of him? What does a warrior do? And the next question after that is, does a warrior hold anything back in battle? If a warrior encounters battle or is challenged in battle, does a warrior hold anything back in battle? The next question is, in a vertical world, what is an oddity in the forest? The Faith Walker says, stand with authority. Do not retreat. Do not show fear. Faith Walker says, no, all or nothing. All right, Faith Walker. You got them all right. Yes, you stand your ground. You don't show fear. You prepare. I don't know if I almost gave the answer before the next one. Yeah. Yes, Faith Walker. Very good. In a vertical world, what is an oddity in the forest? And those are, as Faith Walker said, horizontal lines. Because all the trees are up and everything, but you'll know if they fell over, naturally, or if they're V'd down like they're broke. Those are oddities, because all the trees go up and they fall, they go like this. It is true, some will catch other trees, but you're looking for horizontal lines. What does a warrior do when we first get to a place for observation? What do we do? When we first get to a place that we're going to observe, what is it that we do? And it's pretty much gave you the answer anyway. What does a warrior do when we first get to a place for observation? When you just pull up to your camp, or if you just pull up to your place that you're going to be doing some tracking, or if a missing person is somewhere, what do you do before you go into that forest? What do we do when we get to the forest line? What do we do before we go in? What do we do before we do anything? And you see so many people just tromp off into the woods. And you'll even see Bigfoot expedition people tromp into the woods without knowing the woods. Yes, Faith Walker. So, Faith Walker seems to be ready to go out. She says, be still, listen, scan. Yes, the answer is observations. We do our observations. We want to know what's going on in the forest. We want to know what the birds are doing. We want to know what the animal life is doing. We don't want to be a disturbance. We want to know if we can see some things, we want to see what's out there before we go out there and make a disturbance, which we're not trying to, but when we're all moving, that's a disturbance. And sometimes when you cross open areas, that's a big disturbance. Also, practice those mind techniques. Practice stopping everything. And when you're out in the field, also just do it periodically. Just think about not thinking, I guess you would say. Stop everything for a little while. Do it from time to time. That could be the time whenever something's trying to zero in on you or communicate. So when you're out in the field and you know that you're in occupied areas, use those techniques from time to time. It will help you. The colors of the orbs and eyes, the meaning. What is the color? What does the structure mean from white to orange? What does orange mean? What does orange? If you see orange orbs or orange eyes, what does the color orange mean? Because this is going to help you with your orbs and your eyes and predators. What's the feeling there? All right, Faith Walker. Yes, they are the most aggressive. They are the most vicious. And the color orange is the most vicious. Orange is the new black. Know where these things come from. All the way to white. You got orange, red, pink, um, blue, green, white. Those colors, like but there's even the white will take a victim if it can. But you have the white eyes all the way to the most vicious, to the red eyes, to the orange, and the orange is the most vicious. So if you see orange eyes out there, it's time to move, like we was discussing before. Um, Orbs will tell you how far these predators have traveled. Orbs or things that are in your dreams, they're both the same. So these orbs will tell you if they've came a long way, like the white ones that we seen that are not. Those came a long way. But the if you was to have like so it's different than a Bigfoot size and everything. If you see an orange orb, that means they're in that area. But if you have a white orb, that's from a distance. That's from a long way. And you'll see a lot of them together. Uh, but the colors give it away. Also, the eyes give it away. Uh, the next question is when heat or when cloaked, when a Bigfoot becomes transparent, um, is the heat of the Bigfoot camouflaged? When a Bigfoot becomes transparent, is the heat camouflaged also? When a Bigfoot is transparent, is the heat of the Bigfoot camouflaged? Mr. Mills says no, it's not. Faith Walker says guessing no. When cloaked, is the heat of the Bigfoot camouflaged? Sabrina Lane, if you are still here, I am in Oklahoma. The rest of the team is also from Oklahoma. The heat is camouflaged also with um the heat is almost always camouflaged. Um Now the next question is, can a Bigfoot change temperatures? Can a Bigfoot change temperatures? Next question, can a Bigfoot change temperatures? Can a Bigfoot change temperatures? Can a Bigfoot change temperatures? Faith Blocker says, so it's like demons. Chill or co-chill. Mr. Mills, Faith Blocker, both put yes. Yes, you're both correct. Bigfoots can change temperatures. When out in the field, when you're running thermals, a Bigfoot will be exactly the same temperature as wood. Uh, Now, if it's behind wood, you'll get a different temperature, or it will be on the ground and you'll get a black spot or a dark spot. Uh, if it's on top of the house, whatever the temperature that's coming out of that house, that Bigfoot will be that temperature. If it's on an old house, it'll be the temperature of that old house. If it's on a log, cut down tree, or beside a tree or behind a tree, it'll be the same temperature as that tree. It's just like a chameleon. Whatever it touches, it'll get that same glimmer, it'll get that same temperature. So always remember that. And that's why we said you have to look for those horizontal lines. You have to look for, we'll get to the next one too. And Faith Walker says, "Oh wow, yes, yes, they can do this." So, oh, sorry, I was using that for a little timer. Now, now we've explained this a lot, and we've shared this a lot, and we've seen this a lot. Bigfoots will turn their back to you to not be a shiner, which means shine because they're faces, but will always turn sideways from time to time to look at you to make sure you didn't move forward. So whenever you see a Bigfoot or if they see you, they're going to turn their backs to you. And if they can't move or something like that, and they're in the dark anyway, they're just going to get comfortable. So you're going to see their backs, but from time to time they'll turn real slow and look, and then they'll turn right back, and you'll catch that face, that side of the face, or sometimes they'll turn all the way around, and you'll catch that face, especially if you use thermals. But night vision too will get you a glimmer on a shiner because they will shine too in light. Look for that shine. But they're just also checking to make sure you didn't try to move in on them. Which if you do have one like that, move behind a tree. And every time they turn back around, move behind another tree. And as soon as you get pretty well close, they're gonna take off. It'll happen. It'll happen every time. Okay, what else? And this is a multi-part answer, so you can probably never get this answer wrong, but I want to hear a couple if I can. What else do we look for besides horizontal lines? What else do we look for besides horizontal lines? When we're out in the field and Bigfoots are around or tracking, what else do we look for besides horizontal lines? When we're out in the field, when we're in the woods, when we're in the forest, when we're in that mountainous terrain, if we're having a track or if we're seeing Bigfoots in the area, what else do we look for besides horizontal lines? Remember, the trees go up, we're looking for horizontal lines first. Anything going like this, what are we looking for? There's other things. And like one of the answers here would be uh, we're looking for silhouettes or shoulders. We're looking for movement. What else? Those things. What are we looking for? We want them to make the mistake. What are we looking for? We want these mistakes. We can find them easy and quickly. So what else do we look for besides horizontal lines? And almost every answer is correct. Okay, we are looking for silhouettes of the heads and shoulders. We are looking for eyes. We are looking for the eye shine. We are looking for movement, glimmers, blurs, blue shapes, outlines, disturbances, shadows, sounds of nature, bird language. And Faith Walker says, rank smell, bird language, silence, blurs, shadows, trees shaking. All right, see, you can almost not get anything wrong. We're looking for all of these things. Now, each Bigfoot has its own call. One will protect or perfect the cricket. One will perfect. Hey, Cliff Bays is here, everyone. Faith Walker says darker than dark. Yes, looking for those shadows that are darker than the other shadow. And that's how we caught a lot of them. All these techniques that we've been going over, all these things that we were talking about finding and practicing and using. When you're out there, you're gonna be able to see them. You're gonna see that darker shadow than the other shadow. You're gonna be seeing that outline um, or that eye shine. You're gonna know what to look for. Uh, so each Bigfoot has has a call. The birds, the crickets. Uh, Now you'll have a Bigfoot that will sound like the locust. You'll have them that sounds like a cricket, a frog, a bird, but not like a whole forest of birds. There'll be one of each. And then you got some of them that'll mimic all those little cricket sounds. And then those coyote sounds that are real close. And that's a strategy also. They don't have the ones who perfected the coyote or somewhat perfected because you can still tell the difference. Up near or in the tree in front of the house. They know the distance that they watch. They know. They'll put the cricket, the one that perfected the cricket, to crawl up. The one that sounds like the bird, they'll put him in the tree over there. The one that sounds like a frog will be in the tree over here. The one that sounds like a locust will be in the tree over here. And all the ones that make that noise like a symphony, like they're all singing together, but they're mimicking what this area sounds like. And now they do this because, like I was saying, the coyotes will be out of sight. The birds, the cricket, the locust, the frog, those will be in close. They know what animals will be closer to your house. And that's also, this is a false sense of security by familiarity of normality. um, it's a false sense of security. By everything that you think of as normal, they're using this as a trap for familiarity. These traps are designed specifically for you to take somebody. So if somebody's walking down a road at nighttime they're going to make it sound like there's not a problem in the world. There's bugs, there's crickets, there's a frog over here. Uh, Maybe a dog will bark that's not even supposed to be there, way off in the distance, or it'll sound like it's way off in the distance because they can't sound like they're further and closer. But you'll be walking through there, you may hear a bird or two chirp. That's familiarity of normality. When you think everything is normal, this is familiar. Okay, there's a bird, no problem. There's another one over here, okay. But you don't see deer, you don't see wildlife, but you hear wildlife, but you don't see it. That's not normality for a warrior. That's abnormality, and that's an oddity. So everyone be very, very wise when you're out there in the field. Don't go with anybody who don't know to look for these things because they are building the perfect trap for you by what you think is familiar. And this creates that false sense of security to capture prey easy. It stays just out of sight to not cause fear. When you see a Bigfoot, it's way out there. It's hard to get a picture of it, but it's out of that distance for a reason. It's letting you know that it's in the area. It wants you fearful, and that is where it's hunting at that time. Facebucker says, I often hear a cat in one spot, but none is there. And Cliff says, spooky. Yeah, it is. And, I was talking with a friend about this, and it was like, when you really think about it, they use all these techniques just to get as close to you as possible. But, I was saying that, a while back to some other trackers, and they just wouldn't grasp that these things are predators, and they want to be so good, I guess. But I mean, they're the second best predator, but they want to walk up right to you and touch you in the dark. They want to be that good to touch you in the dark before they take you, before they, that's like a challenge to them. So that challenge is for you. Everyone will get a challenge if you're out doing this. So that is a false sense of security by familiarity of normality. So everyone remember that. Now, many people do not know what normality is because they are never paying attention to when the seasons or night and days change, or when the insects and sequence of predators happen. Now, there's so many people who they don't know what familiarity is. When people come home by 9 o'clock, by 9:30, by this time right now, people are ready for bed. And a lot of people here will catch the channel or the show, the stream the next day or something like that. They're not up at this time listening, setting traps up, or putting speakers outside. You can do that too. Put recording devices outside that you can check the next day. But until don't put your infrared, because you won't catch anything unless you use your sound first. Faithbucker says, one night my teen and her friend tried to camp in the yard. Around midnight, they heard a deep, creepy voice say, "Here, kitty, kitty." They ran inside, all inside terrified. Cliff says, What? WTF? Geez, that is for freaky. CC says, that's creepy. Cliff says, so freaky. Yes, this is why we always talk about these other Bigfoot channels of how they endanger people. So when they're hearing crickets and, things around them that sound familiar and normal, they're getting surrounded. And if these things are hungry, if there's no food in that area, these guys just walked in and rang the dinner bell by making all that noise, not knowing that all these animals, the insects, uh, frogs, everything, even a rattlesnake. Those are oddities. You gotta know for sure what it is because these Bigfoots will do a symphony for the whole forest just to catch you, just to get you to keep, and especially if you're walking the wrong direction, oh, they're not gonna bother you until you are way in the wrong direction. They're gonna let you do your own walking. Um, CC says, "Big, this down here is if you think you hear a baby crying, don't go outside." Yes, those are some of the things that we look for and listen for. Um, Now, and that's what we're talking about is a lot of people don't know what is normal and what is not normal. Like the locusts, they're only here for a certain amount of time. If you still hearing locusts out there, they're not supposed to be here. You know, if just all of those oddities that we've been going over, when you hear things like that, pay attention. And when you hear everything is perfectly normal and there is no smell, and that's perfectly normal, still be observant, still be aware, do your scouting, do your observations. Don't be out there like everybody else, pull up and everything looks normal. They start breaking out music, hot dogs, kids swimming everywhere, their backs, I mean, they're facing in water, backs to the forest, because they're getting snuck up on. And when you're in camps out there in the forest and you think everything's still normal and everything, and if you've walked away from your camp, you gave these creatures, predators, time to get in the very best position, lay down. And oh yeah, also we were talking about seeing if anyone on the team has an iPhone 7 or something for next time we got that drone, or maybe we can buy a used one or something. That's one of the things we're also looking for. Um, Faith Walker says, "You are the only one I've ever heard this from. I've watched hundreds of videos. Best lessons here." Thank you, Faith Walker. Everything that we're sharing here is uh, factual, actual. It's the truth. And like we were talking about, a lot of these other things or channels, they don't know all this stuff. So we're sharing it here freely so that everyone knows what to look for. They won't be going out on expeditions unless you have a trained team. And we won't. I don't think we should be doing expeditions just to be doing expeditions. But there are things that we need to go check out. Some places like that, and we can call those expeditions, but we'll only be there for a day or two, just setting up things and getting in and getting out. We're not going to have week full on camps because when we got something to do or a place to go, or somebody calls us, it's going to be just for like a day or two. It's just like just get down there, set up, go over our strategies, get in, get out, and get back. So those are going to be somewhat like an exhibition if that's what people are needing, because when people call us and they talk to us and they tell us these things are out there, we believe them and we know and we need to check it out. We also, I've actually started a little map of all the places that we've been, and if we found Bigfoots or if we haven't, or if we found tracks and things like that. And Malcolm, if y'all could do that too, Malcolm and David, we could put this map together that we've done personally at places that we've seen things and everything, so that or that people know who are viewing this channel that like I personally checked this one out. Malcolm has disturbances over here. Damon knows these people, or he's checked out disturbances in those areas. But if you do get disturbances, make sure we're all together so we can watch each other's backs. And if we don't get any sponsorship, well, we still need to check some things out for people. And sometimes there's even people that I know that need things checked out, which I've been trying to get up there. And I know that, they couldn't afford to give us even gas money. So that has to work out whenever we're available, whenever we have enough money to do this for people who don't have the gas money for us to get there. So right now, that's kind of what we're doing. Um, okay, tonight I want to mm, let's see. Here in just a second, I'm gonna bring Damon and Malcolm on. I'm going to flip the camera here because I can still stay online and I can blow up some thermal images for you. Which I was looking at this and I was like, I can't get all this on to a film this quick. Which it's going to take me at least a week. I'm looking at to get a film up, and even if I can only put it on YouTube or something like that, that's what I'm going to have to do because the there's just too much. Um, we were surrounded out there, but we knew we was going to be because this is a very active spot. And like whenever we were having the ceremony, I mean, this was for a ceremony camp is what we was calling it, and we was letting people know this is not a Bigfoot expedition, but we will be in areas that are occupied by Bigfoots, and you have a 99 percent chance, if not greater, to have an encounter as far as a visual or video or a sighting as what we were talking about. So everyone did have all these things that we talked about, and everyone handled it great because everyone, to me, were professional in their mannerism and the way they handled everything. Um, those are the kind of men you want to go out with, uh, and also women. The women who take Faith Walker, for instance. She's been probably here every night, and when I ask these few questions, boom, she had all the answers. And she knows that when we're in the field, we move quietly. She knows she's been paying attention, which this is for people to pay attention because these techniques, these things to look for, will save your life out there, or you'll save somebody else's life by teaching them everything that you know. You'll all be teachers. Um, you by watching this channel regularly, you've become an expert already. You still know more than any of the other Bigfoot talk show hosts or movies or books. You already know more than everybody else. I mean, there is more to know, and we're going over more tonight, and we have. But every night we're going to add more. We're going to add more to it so that you know all these things. And if you was to ask some of those questions we just asked to a Bigfoot conference, they wouldn't know the answers or they would avoid the answers. Here we just tell you the truth so that you have it and so that you know whenever another person doesn't know. Um, let's see. Before we get started on the thermal imaging lesson tonight, because this is a lesson for everyone who has not used thermals before or doesn't know what to look for. Um, we're going to show you thermals and how what we look for when we thermals. And even when you're in the field, if you get a chance, look through it as quickly as possible, even though it's on a small screen. That's why if we could get us a large, like a camera about this big of a thermal imaging camera, I mean, just that night alone, we could have had the best pictures, the clearest images if we had that equipment. If we had that van already with Malcolm, if we had Damon already with the equipment, the monitoring equipment, we could have we was in a spot where we could have gotten the best video and everything, and that area is still there, and there are other spots like that, but um, hopefully on these next times that we go out, we'll have better equipment and we'll get even better ones. But tonight, we will show you how to look for these, even if you're using a small one like this. And you'll understand what we're talking about when we say look for uh, the same temperature. Look for outlines. Look for shoulders. Look for glimmers. Look for shine. Look for um, horizontal. Look for those abnormalities. And when we get to these thermals in just a second, you'll see exactly what I mean. I'm gonna bring Damon and Malcolm on, and I'll help point out a few things, and then these areas that they may have covered because I didn't take all the video myself and I didn't take all the pictures myself. Everyone was taking pictures, everyone was taking video. So some people have more eyes as to what was there that they seen to why they took that picture. And I want them to explain that also. Let me read these last few comments and then we'll get started on that so that everyone is heard as far as pertaining to what we're talking about tonight. um, Faith Walker. Oh, okay. I'm gonna read Faith Walker's again and start there. I like hers. You are the only one I've ever heard this from. I've watched hundreds of videos. Best lessons here. And thank you again, Faith Walker, and all the people who are, becoming those experts and people who are already, because you do know more than anybody else. Cliff Bays says so many other channels try to make out that Bigfoots are friendly and they're just trying to be cool with them. Can't trust these other people. No, they are going to get people hurt, if not killed and eaten. These are predators, the second best. They eat meat, drink blood, they thrive on it, and they move on. That's all they do. So when they're around the houses in small towns and there's no game in the area, they're looking at people unless they move on. So always be very observant of that. CC says, I never heard anything like that until I moved down here. As far as Bigfoots, I'm not sure what you mean, but as far as Bigfoots, they're pretty much everywhere. I know up in Canada, all the way down to like Bolivia, I know of, Japan, even on the small islands. Let's see, Cliff Bays. Ever heard of mountain lion? To me, it sounds like a fawn getting murdered by a mountain lion. But apparently, that is what a mountain lion sounds like. Okay. CC says, I think they can also make the smell as bad as they want to, depending on the situation. Yes, they can change their smells, they can change their temperature, reflect the light, and Cliff Bay says, hey Jerry, did you teach Damon? Because he has very knowledge and could listen to him talk and about this subject forever, just like you, Jerry. Yes, Damon has his own knowledge, as just as Malcolm does. But this what makes it a good team is that we can all bring this together and we can all share different knowledges, and that just makes it better and more safer for all of us and the people who do, if possible, go out with us. But if you do go out with us, we're going to go over everything we're going to do before we get there. And that's also one thing that we also need to do before any time we go out. We need to go and do a scouting, even if it's just a quick look, just to get video, just to see what's out there. Then come back in and then prepare for, the next time out. Okay, so those are all the comments for right now. I'm going to add Malcolm and Damon. Then I'm going to start on a couple of thermals. I want everyone to pay attention to the thermals, because if you ever have to run thermals, which I suggest, if you're ever out there have night vision thermals, extra batteries, as much as that as you can get. And something I've always wanted to get is it's like a body mapper, where even if you don't see it, it will outline a body or a shape of a body if it's there. And those would be really beneficial if you're out in the field to use that when in Bigfoot areas. Okay, Malcolm, Damon, how y'all doing tonight? I'm gonna add y'all in here.
Doing
Hey
good.
guys,
Hey, great to hear from you. Great to hear from you.
same here.
Well,
how you,
one thing I was going to mention with the bird calls is the mistake that Bigfoot makes is anytime that you hear a bird, daytime or night, you hear the flutter of their wings, especially if the bird's in a tree and or even an owl, if they hoot, you'll hear the flapping of that wing because that's part of them drawing in air to be able to vocalize. Bigfoot can't do that.
Yeah, I was gonna say if y'all had any more uh to add to what we talked about tonight as far as the test and things or how or anything about the other night before we get started with the thermals, you're more than welcome to talk about because I want people to know more. Because we always remember something later or something that caught my eye or a sound or something that if you have a little bit more information or if you'd like to share a bit more information with the group here, you're more than welcome to, and that'll give us a little bit more time to set up with the thermals of, and especially if like where you caught uh, a movement or something where we would be looking at with our thermals because I've got thermals of every direction. So
Yeah,
if you could talk about where you might have seen something because I got those thermals and I will pull up exactly that direction you're talking about. So
yes, definitely. But that's the thing that you have to listen to is even go through YouTube, go to like animal sounds, listen to the crickets, listen to the listen to the coyote, the predator calls, because when you listen to it over and over again, you're going to hear the mistakes that the Bigfoot makes.
Mm.
And the more you hear the mistakes, the closer you know where they're at. And that's
Yeah,
one thing. Go ahead.
I was gonna say that, you know, this is like using calls, like a hunter would use a duck call or a bird call or um, a fawn in distress. Um, it's skill levels. There's ones who begin and they grow in skill. And I think there was one time when the dogs was out there barking and they tried to imitate a dog bark, and it was so far off it was almost comical. And
Yeah,
but yeah, listen, listen closely to what you hear, and you'll be like, wait a minute, that don't really sound like the owl, or that don't really sound like a blue jay, or uh, you know, just whatever. That's off. It's gonna be off because they just can't get it perfect.
no, you're right, because I mean, just like we were hearing hounds out there, and I was at I even asked Josh. I said, who's got hunting dogs? He goes, I don't have any neighbors who have hunting dogs. And I'm like, oh, okay. You know,
Hmm.
so that was telling me right there that they're mimicking other animals further out, but they're trying to draw us to go find that sound, and I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not going to play that game. Because they'll even sound like a dog in distress. You'll hear a hound out there just going absolutely nuts and sounding like that. He's either hurt or he's lost, and wanting a human to go find him. That's the biggest mistake people do is let's grab a flashlight. Let's go find out and see where that dog's at. You don't do that. You just don't do that.
Yeah, and that's one of the importances too of when you're on a site. You don't want them to get familiar with your voice or someone else's voice on the team or in the area, because they could use that against other team members and stuff, and they to try to call them out or say something.
Yes.
So, that's the importance of signaling and being quiet. And
Yeah, if I could just put in here for just a second, Faith Walker. I'm going to read her comment again just because of what y'all said. She said, one night Martina and her friend tried to camp in the yard. Around midnight, they heard a deep voice say, "Here, kitty, kitty." They ran inside terrified.
Yes.
mhm.
Well, that's the other thing too is, depending on, the people that's out there, neighbors, the frequency of human activity, that's where they picked up that voice. And yes, the Bigfoot does have a very deep, low voice, almost like a bass voice, but it's scratchy and it's not very clear like us humans, because us humans with our voice box, we have two extra vowels in our voice box so we can go to the higher and lower pitches. Bigfoot can't do that. That's why it's that scratchy. That's why it's not very audible, that you can hear that clear vocal voice like a human.
Yeah, a Bigfoot will have, even though it may sound like they're going higher and lower or higher and lower, it's still, like you were saying, it's still just one pitch.
Yes.
Even though it may sound like it's, and that's why we were telling people don't be out there trying to whistle like a Bigfoot, don't be trying to make a call like a Bigfoot, because even though that sounds like it's going up and down, that pitch is just one, and whenever a human or a man does it, it's going up and down, and they know that.
Yes.
Like that's not one
Mhm.
of us.
Because see, here's the reason why I say that is because when an Bigfoot uses their voice, or their auto, they're leaning back. They've got a almost a 45-degree angle, and they're using the trees, rocks, streams, whatever they can use to amplify that sound. Well, us as humans, we already know we can amplify our own voice by putting our hands around our face. They don't have to do that, because it our voice box is about the size of a half a dollar. Their voice box is almost 3 inches around. So it takes less air to vocal for a Bigfoot than it does for a human, because we actually have to project are vocal.
And
As far,
Faith Walk.
go ahead.
Oh, and Faith Walker, she said, that's just how they described it, deep and creepy, like gravely.
Yeah, it's almost like it would be almost like somebody had taken and put in their hand, and all and I'll give an example of me putting my hand over my mouth and saying, "Here, kitty, kitty," like here, you can't really hear. You can hear parts of it, but it's not clear verbal. And that's how a Bigfoot is because they don't have that vocal for speech.
CC says, they were referring to the sound of a baby cry outside. They never heard that before until they moved down here, wherever here is. They said that they've heard a baby crying outside.
Yes, that's the way they do is they get the juveniles because a juvenile can actually sound like a child, and it's not exactly like a child. It's not a child crying, but it's close enough that it will get your attention. Like I said, I've been doing this off and on for 10 plus years now. And it's like every year I learn more and more and more and hone my skills even more.
Well, I was going to talk about how these creatures or these predators, they have a fear of being exposed and a fear, which causes the fear of loss of food, the loss of, they have a fear of starvation. That's why they eat everything that they can. They'll also take it back to their dens and places like that. And they have like a fresh food here or a pinned in kind of food, maybe a hog or a deer or even a person. And then it goes down the line through decay. So they have their own form of rotation of food. So you don't really get that rancid smell of bones and everything because they're also underground and they eat every bit of the meat. They don't waste it like anyone else. They eat every bit of it. It's a starvation kind of eat. But that is one of the fears, and that is well, actually two fears. Is they have a fear of being exposed and a fear of a loss of food or a loss of their food. And within the last 10 years, there was um, a village in Alaska that everyone disappeared. And I was in a place called Aguasasne, which is Mohawk territory way in the north. And a game ranger was visiting, but he was a friend of the family and he wasn't working at that time. And, I was talking about missing people, Bigfoot, things like that. And he finally goes, I guess just out of curiosity, he said, um, there's a village that I know of that everyone disappeared. And he goes, but I'm not supposed to be telling you about this. I'm like, okay, well, and I went on still talking about, missing people and Bigfoot and the connection and spiders and things. And he said, that was within 10 years, he kind of got back in the conversation. And I said, yes. I said, it was before the first frost or it was during the first frost, wasn't it? And he said, yes. And I said, and this wasn't the only village, was it? And he said, no. So yeah, they periodically, if all that food is scarce and like those villages in Alaska, which 100, 200 miles away from everybody else, that whole village will get attacked. And all these places that we've been tracking, we've found Bigfoots, we found prints, we found fresh, not something that's 5 years or a month. Oh, these are fresh marks. And they're getting in around a lot of people's small towns. The deer, the population, the animal wildlife populations have dwindled everywhere. And so when those things happen, it's just people left in that area unless they move on. So villages do come up missing. So we want everyone to learn all these techniques, what to look for, what to listen for. Uh, Sometimes, if you want, turn everything off at nighttime, especially if you're out further or just on the outskirts of town. Put some kind of listening device outside. Stay up a night or two. Just listen. See what's around there at night. See what goes bump in the dark. Um,
And also, I was going to mention too, when we were up there, you know, we also seen that the bone were picked clean. The marrow was gone out of the bone.
yeah, and even the bird. I mean, it was plucked. It looked like it was plucked and
Yes.
eaten, but there was no blood there. It was just like it just plucked it right there. Just ate it whole or took it home with it. But there were a lot of traps up there.
Oh yeah.
And also, what we talked about when we were talking earlier, a few segments back, I'd say maybe eight probably, when we was talking about tracking, um, let's see, what was it? Oh, I lost my place. But whenever we was, when Malcolm, when we first checked out that trap, we both missed it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And but it looks and everything looks so normal. I mean, it was just like, okay, it looks okay. And then we went over it, and then we went over it again. So uh, that's what we was talking about. Everything will look normal, but when we really think about it, we had those footprints there. We had the red-tailed hawk that was eaten right there. I mean, or at least it was plucked right there. Um,
That actually was that was a egret. It was a type of a stork. I got a picture of one of the feathers and identified that as a stork.
okay,
Mm.
whatever it was, they plucked it clean right there.
Yeah.
And
Mm.
then we noticed also on that trap it had other tire marks. So someone else had already been up through there. And this is, I mean, even the rocks that were in the road were big enough to where if you ran over them, they would have tilted up, and these ends were sharp. I was looking at them, I'm like, those are just big enough to, if you roll over them, they could pop your tire. And I'm like, man, this whole area is just, um,
Well, that first tire had 3 holes in it.
oh, okay. So we hit some other things too. Then those are,
Yeah.
uh, and that's also a place that um kind of needs to go back up that way. And so I was talking. Well, I didn't get to talk to the people I needed to talk to today because my phone. I don't know what I did with my charger. So my phone's been out and nobody can call me. Just through emails. But we're still here for at least another hour, guys. Um, I'm gonna go ahead and turn this thermal around. I've got a few I want y'all to look at. And all the group and the people here, you'll also get to see these thermals that we took out there, and we'll show you what to look for, so that when maybe you're out in the field and you have you get even a little handheld thermal, you can get you something like that, and at least you'd know how to use it. You're gonna see yourself, guys. Oh, let me move this. Okay, I'll zoom it up a little bit as best I can here. Let me just. All right. Give me 1 second here. Yeah, because I want to go through these thermals with you so that you see what I'm. Uh, oh. Okay, I think I got it now. Uh, okay, hopefully I got it now. But I'm trying to zoom in. I don't know if you can see this, but I hope you can. And if you can't, kind of let me know here. But right here, I want to show you this arm. And this was the first, uh, when we first got there, this is that big tree that's in the back. Just to the right of Josh's front porch. Let me see if that gets in better. And it caught my attention when we first got there.
And if you look up, you'll see that white. That's the glimmer of its eye. Straight up from that arm. To the left, you can see that they kind of a lighter white. Right? Yeah, just to the right, just a little bit. Right there. That's part of the eye. That's part of the glimmer from the eye.
Yeah. And here's the shoulders. Oh,
yeah.
Sorry.
And on down, you can see the femur of the leg right there right up underneath. Yeah, to down a little bit, and then over to the right, you can actually see the leg, where would be the knee kind of extending out.
Yeah, see, this is also, you can still, this is the tree part right here. Can y'all see that arrow? Can y'all see the arrow?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. This is the tree part right here on both sides. Goes down like that. And then here's the other arm. And when we go back there, we should go check this tree out because I'm sure it climbed up. I just got this thermal, but this is where the claws would have started. So we would find those claw marks right here. And then here's this, the other side of the tree. It's either right here or it's right here. But here's the other hand. That's holding on to the other side. And then here's this one. And then here's the head part, the shoulder, and it comes down. And that's what caught my attention. For the first time. And I wanted y'all to see that because that was one of the things that I caught when we first got there. And I know y'all have different things that you've seen. So but we can explain what we seen, and that I caught that just with that first thermal, and I was just scouting around, just taking pictures. Know it. There's something right there. I just got it. Then that's whenever I came over to borrow the night vision to see. But he had either gotten behind because I couldn't find him, or it was just enough. This is actually just enough to be out of the distance of the night vision because it picked up real good to about right here, and then this is just out of sight of it. But that's one right there. It's one of the first ones. One of the Bigfoots that we look for. Now I'm going to go to the next. The next thermal I want you to see. It's a 6118. Six oh five oh two. 605. Ooh. And even the images that were, I'll blow it up. I don't think it's going to let me. Hey, Matt. So I'm not sure if y'all could really see this, but um, even these images that we kind of didn't get the best image of, these all have faces that the thermals picked up.
Yeah, if you look right over to the left, you see the two eyes and the almost like a mustache.
Yeah.
Take your pen and go to the left. You can see the two eyes. Go down.
Mm-hmm. That were there.
Now go to the left. Right there. You're right on top of the face. There's a face right there. You can see the heat from the eyes and the mustache and the mouth right there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we look for in these thermals. Is we look for the oddities, things that shouldn't be there in a heat signature.
Okay, I was going to show like this part right here. If can y'all still see that white arrow?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this white line right here is the top of the roof. And
Okay.
here's the friend right here. They have the same temperature as the wood, as whatever they're connected with. There will be a couple of them that will be hotter, but for the majority, they're going to stay, even with the thermals, just like a serpent. It'll be the same temperature as that rock. It'll be the same temperature as that shadow. Remember, they have those attributes of whatever DNA they have. So, camouflaging, chameleon, lights, um, blending in with the same temperature as a serpent would do. Um, we just have to remember to look for those oddities. Everything that's not supposed to be there. It should all be clear, just like this. But here's where we had the visitors who were already in position before we got there, but that was okay because I was also talking to another friend and they said that if we did show up before dark, that we wouldn't have got as much photos and information because they wouldn't have been in those positions. They would have snuck into another position, used another technique. Um, so everything happened the way it was supposed to happen. And 32, 13, 18. Okay, the next one. This also okay. Right there. Now this is another thermal reading. What as you can see right here, it's still the same temperature as whatever the wood is. Whatever they're connected to, just like a serpent, just like a snake, whatever they're touching, they will blend in with that temperature. And we're going to see them just like that every time with the same temperature. Now, if they're out far, say 100 to like 300 yards, you're going to see like the red, the yellow, um, those heat signatures because they're not worried. I mean, they're walking. You know, that's their their own temperature, I guess you would say. But when they come in contact, or whenever they are visibly able to see you, they will touch a tree. They will touch a rock. They will do like that chameleon will do and blend in with whatever is around. They'll get that temperature and they will blend in. And that's also what we were talking about with them shadow language, knowledge of the shadow is that like even though they will be black or dark, you'll see that it's a darker black than the background. And also that those shadows, if you become aware of them, make sure you mark that shadow so next time you look, that shadow may have backed up and blended into a deeper shadow. So when we're out there, we have to know that when we're using the thermals, we're not looking for like a person because that person will show up red, yellow, white. It'll have all these multi-spectrum colors, but a Bigfoot won't do that. A Bigfoot will look exactly like everything else. It won't be a disturbance.
Well, if you look right where your pointer was at and go to the left, you see that pink, that little cue of pink right there. That that's another that's another Bigfoot. That's a Bigfoot actually in movement.
Yep, we got him right there.
Yeah. And that's where we caught the orb right there too.
And here's the also another outline, but there's also another one right here. And I believe there was 3 of them that was sitting up there.
I counted
Yeah.
3.
Yes, because if you look down by the ridge line, you see the kind of a white, kind of that pinkish line. That's where one was moving.
Yep. And you can see the outline of the head right there.
Yes.
Show
Yeah,
it.
that one was a smaller one, and I think the bigger one was in the middle of those two. That's what I think.
On this way? This side or this side?
Uh-huh.
Because
Well,
I'd seen it.
You got one down here where the light pink is. That you got the tall one right there by the roof, and then you had that one that was behind the big one back there. There was 3 of them all together.
Yeah, sitting up there. That's what I seen too.
Yeah,
And Malcolm.
And then that's when I was trying to let you know that we had that we had the orb up there. If you look up higher, you can actually see the white in the orb on the picture. Is that's what you can, that right up there by where your little square is on that last picture, you could see the white, and inside of it was an orb.
And here's another thermal of it setting right here on that corner. A perfect place to really set,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, man, that's just dark enough, and you're just in the best place to get the best sight. And that again, it's the same temperature as the woods. What it's connected to. So when you see these other Bigfoot guys out there, they're running thermals and everything. Sometimes they'll get that big yellow and multicolored spectrum Bigfoot, but it'll be in the distance. But they're not looking for the ones who is behind that tree 10 foot, who is the same temperature as the tree.
Right.
And that's why I said these guys are dangerous out there because they don't know these things will be, right next to them. And I'll show you. We'll get a little further. I'm gonna show you some of these that try to get real close to us.
Well, if you look on the other side of the roof right there, you can actually see where they were trying to use an orb too. Right up there, right there in that over to the right and up, you can kind of see where it's kind of white looking. Yes. Right there. See where that circle is above the sea to your right? That's where they were, to the right, right there. That's where they were trying to use an orb. Because we know that was pitch black right there.
Mm-hmm.
Inside of that white is where the orb is at. That's if you can see the white behind that, that's the trail like a comet. And that's what they're trying to use.
I know here in a little bit over here on the left, we're gonna see a yellow orb here in just a little bit too. And then here again, here's the head, here's the shoulders, and it has knees facing that way. I mean, we were seeing his back right here. It has knees backwards. There's his shape, the buttocks area, and the waist.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that there were two more. We just have to, and we'll see them here in just a second. But also over here, if y'all can see this, that these are hot spots also. And this house right here kind of goes in deep. This whole back
Mm-hmm.
part is fell in, and they can is another kind of roof right underneath here. So they're kind of standing on a roof right there with this cover right there. But they don't know that we have thermals. They're just looking over that back side of the house. Okay, I'm going to fast forward to 1639. Give me 1 second. Now this is a thermal that I was taking because it caught my attention. Let me see let's see how far you can. Okay. Now this caught my attention. There's the white right here, but the biggest thing for me was over here, right in this area, like these eyes right here. But when I was looking, I seen four that was right here, just back in this dark line behind this tree. But it was still like about maybe, I want to say 40 yards from here to here. Oh, about 40 yards from here to here. Now this is a whole darker area, but I had seen like four of them, you know, four of them standing right here, and I thought there was one over here too. So as we go a little further, we'll look at this spot also, because I could have swore I seen them right there, and I was every time I looked, I was like, that's got to be them. That's got to be them.
Yeah, I
Right.
think I counted like 4 or 5 in that one spot.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
good guys. That's
Well,
great.
if you look up where you were just at in that picture, and go to your right, right there. You can see an eye right that yellow. If you go down, go over. There's like a single yellow spot right in that yellow, and that's an eye shine.
Hmm.
You can almost see it. You can almost see that like an ear.
Down here or
No, back up where you were at.
oh,
There is
Like
okay.
you said,
see it almost looks like an orb right there in the right there. That's an eye shine. And
right there.
if you look just a little bit to the right of that, that's an outline of another eye. There was two of them standing side by side.
Yeah, this is right where I was like, I know that's them right there because I could see
Yeah,
that some of them standing and everything, but that thermal, I mean, that night vision just wasn't strong enough to get further than this area. If we had one that could get way down here, I mean, like I
yeah.
said, if we had
Which
better
I,
equipment,
I think that the furthest that night vision you had was probably going was maybe 60 yards.
mm, yeah, maybe something like that. I'm not sure.
Yeah, because it was like, the further you would try to extend it, it would just blank out.
I think
Yeah,
this is what I was seeing was this orb setting up there,
right.
and
Right up above it to the left, you can see another eye shine. That little yellow dot. If you go from the orb, go up a little bit, and then to the left, and it's like a complete circle. It's another eye shine
mm.
because
Well,
it's
I've got one right here where she's got her back again to us.
yeah. And
Mhm.
if you look a little bit to the right of that's a juvenile sitting right next to her.
Oh yeah, right here,
That's a
and
Right there.
juvenile sitting
you
right
can
there.
you can see the two eyes here, and then there's one here, but there also looks like maybe a little small one right here too.
Well, that almost like a flat bar that you see right there, that's a baby sitting right next to that juvenile. There's three of them sitting side by
Oh,
side.
looks like one right there too.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
but
was
if
like
you,
they had the a whole group up there and in the back.
I mean,
So
it was like a training center.
so that there's eight, nine so far that we've counted, I guess,
Yes,
and we haven't even went on the other side yet. So
no,
this one I called the tall man, and I want to say this is you, Malcolm, but I was wanting to take a picture.
Hmm.
That did you go over in that area? I believe.
Is that on the left side of the house or?
Yeah, right on the
yeah.
side of Josh's over there. I believe you went over there with the headlamp and. But this is also what I was wanting you to look at.
Up on the house?
Yeah, this guy.
Hmm.
And you know how you always talk about how when you say, I just maybe it's someone else, but people are saying, I can't really get into the whole he's 10, 15 foot tall, and but you see his eyes right here,
Yeah.
mouth right here, and he's looking at Malcolm, and there's a little difference in size here. This is him up here.
I did walk over that way, but I don't think I got that close to the house.
Oh, okay.
Because I kind of walked a little bit, but I tried to stay close enough to everybody else. I was just trying to kind of.
I think Josh is the one who walked over closer to that area.
Okay. Because this is the spot that Josh is always talking about.
Yeah.
And that's why he took down that little shed and is throwing away. And he said, right back here, always they come up behind the house. That's where his uh window unit is in the back right there. They try to pull it out. But this guy, he was like, "Are you my challenge?" You know, he was out there. He was out
Yeah.
there. And so there's some other big ones like this out there. When I was going through all this.
Because I think if you look in that one you were just on with Josh there was a pretty good size one that was sitting way up in the tree. And all he would let you see is just the eyes.
Okay. Can y'all see the marker, the moving arrow?
Yes.
Okay. These are the ones I was talking about. You can see their thermals now. And
Yeah.
then there was one over here. Got 'em. And look, there's eyes right here. But there's also looks to be eyes right here.
Yes.
And here it looks like an arm right here. Like they're moving. And that's what I was saying. They look like they were trying to get as close to us as they possibly could for either an ambush or just to test themselves or test the young ones. But yeah, like you said, it was like a training ground. There was so many
Yes.
in one area that most of them had to go back and pretend to be the coyotes. They had so many.
Mm-hmm.
Can y'all see like from here to here?
Yeah. You can actually see the eyes and the outline of the body.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And there was, like you can see the outline. Here's the arm. Here's the other side of the arm, shoulder. Here's a head here. And I mean, there's like 3 or 4 right in here. And here's the shoulder again, or the arm. And then here comes down to the leg, up back up. Here's
Right.
another one. Here's another one. And then this guy over here.
Let's see, that's a good picture of the house right there too.
Yeah, and you can still see them right here.
Yep.
Here's 1, here's 2, there's another one here. Looks like another one.
You can see the like where the hands are on the eave of the house too. I mean, yeah, on the facial of the house. But yeah, right. Those right up in there. It's like hands.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad we got some people who can see, because there would be, as you,
and look up at the top of the ridge on the right side in that picture. And go to the right, the other side. A little bit more and then go up. See where that tree is at. where the tree, and you can see the fork in the tree. But if you go to the right of that just a little bit, you'll see another one that was setting back in there too.
There's a limb right there where he's sitting on.
Yep. Right where that dark area is, right up there to the right. If you can move the picture over just a little bit to the right.
As far as it goes.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you can see the edge of where he was sitting right down there. You almost kind of see the Y of the tree there, but he was sitting right to the right of that. You can almost see the back of him leaning into that tree right there.
Yep. So that's 10 at least.
I know
And
all together, I felt we seen the 9 at first, and then later on, before that session ended, I know that there was at least 16 of them there.
do y'all see him?
Yeah. And that little bit of blue that you see way over to your right, that right there, that's a juvenile that was actually tracking with him.
Can y'all see this face right here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But as you can see, that little blue spot, when you blow it up a little bit, that little blue spot, it almost looked like, well, it was to the left when I showed you. It almost looked like mimicking a dog, the movement of a dog.
Did you get any by the hay bales and stuff?
No, I didn't get any by the hay bales. I think the hay bales cloak their heat. I
Yeah.
did get kind of one, but this was behind us. Remember that tree? I hope y'all can see this. Can y'all see that right there?
Well, you've got part of the. There you go.
Oh, sorry. Right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now this was that tree that was. You remember we could catch that glow? It was just high enough to look at us, just over these other trees.
Yeah.
He was sitting right up there. So that's another one also. But I'll show you a couple more too. But he had got up there in that tree to observe us. He got himself a nice seat.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's just watching us. So that's at least 11. And here he is again. A different thermal part. But also, I think lower. I think I caught one to be lower also. But
Looks
him,
like some sunshine right up in there. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, there's one closer. Here in just a second, we'll see if we're good. But they were really stealthy. And if you had normal people, nobody would even see, They wouldn't know what to look for. They would
No.
think that's a great camping area. And here's one of it. Yeah, and this is the same tree, and the tree's white and everything. So that's the same temperature, and that's why you can't trust thermals unless you know what you're looking for. And even with those thermals, that's why we keep telling everybody look for those abnormalities, look for those horizontal lines, look for discoloration. Look for
Yeah, because
the outline.
if you look straight up from that white, you can see the eyes right above it. If you go straight up, you can literally see the eyes right there. And that's what it was where we're yeah, right. You'd almost had it. It's almost like two little two little lines, and then it's two little dots right above it.
Hmm.
Right there. You just had
Yes.
it and moved it again.
Talk about higher up here.
Yeah, right there, and then right there above that, you can definitely see that there's eye shine right there, just a little bit above where your pointer's at,
Mm-hmm.
right there. That's eye shine.
That looks like a body.
Yes.
And then we got this one up in that tree again, and then we got this one here. So this
I
tree,
think, and if you look down below it, you should see some eye shine, a little bit of the white glaring back at you in that picture.
hmm. So what's our count up to? 13?
We're at 14 right now.
14?
Yep.
And these are just the ones that came close because the other ones were the coyotes in the background.
Yes.
That was too hard to see.
But they weren't probably 100, maybe 150 yards out.
Yeah.
There was other houses around there too that they were visiting too.
And this one was a little bit later. God dog it, I didn't mark down that one by the wheelbarrow or the tiller that you seen.
Yeah.
Got that on one of these somewhere, but you could see it was probably about this tall. It's probably about 10 foot tall, 8.5 to 10 foot, I'd say.
Yeah.
But it was, and then here's something here. It's like they're walking. Now I don't know if y'all can see him. Oop.
Not now.
Can y'all kind of see this guy? Here's his
Yeah.
face. That's his face.
Well, if you look directly to your left and right there by the tree, you can see one. I mean, not to the left. Go to the right, where you're right there. Perfect outline of a juvenile. Down. Right there. Perfect outline of a juvenile.
Yep.
And this one also, he's laying basically on his stomach. There's his leg going out, and the body in the back. That's the top of the head. That's the other shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So what's that count? 16?
16 now.
Now, this one is that same one. You can see his outline. But this one, we got to see his face right here. It goes around like this. That's the head. Here's the two eyes. Here's the nose. And here's the mouth. And you can see these on thermal, the nose, the two eyes, and the mouth on thermal. And I was also wondering if there was one beside him because it looked like there was two, and it looks like there is another one little behind it.
Well, if you look right there, that's a juvenile. That's a baby. You see the cone of his head up to the left. He's actually holding a child.
Mm.
If you bring your picture down just a little bit, well, now you're up too high. Right there. You look right there where the yellow is around it, and then you look right there. Yeah, right there. That's the down with your pointer. That's the head, and that's the face of it.
Oh, right there.
Right down below it. Can you see that right there, Malcolm? That child right there. That's the face.
Yeah, I see the.
And if you look, he's actually holding on to the Bigfoot.
Yeah.
That's where you seen the two, because he was holding the baby as he was walking.
I can still get his thermal here.
Yeah. Because if you look right there, almost looks like a plus. Down a little, down. Keep going down. You can see the break. That little red right there is a break between the baby and him. Can you see that, Malcolm?
Yeah, I got you.
Almost looks like a plus sign. That's the break between the bigger Bigfoot and the baby.
Yeah.
We still got it back through here. And
Yep.
then here's that one that's cloaked still.
Yep.
Because I don't think there were trees right here earlier.
No.
I think this is one of the a group of them.
Yeah, this is.
Now, and if you look to the right, you'll see hands. They're wrapped around the branch, holding on to it.
And you can see this is an outline. There's a line here. So that has to be a small tree or something. But all this on the outside, this is not supposed to be a part of that tree. Neither is this one
Nope.
or that one.
And then to the right of that, you'll see two smaller red dots up, right up there, and that's hands wrapped around that tree.
Hope y'all can see this one. I'm going to blow it up and because it's going to be kind of dark. But we can still kind of see the silhouette right here. The head, shoulder heads, horizontal lines. It's like one here, one here.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought I'd seen one coming up over here too. You know, like they're moving up.
Well, it was over to the right. See where the F is, and if you go straight down, there's another one standing right there. Right, yeah, right there by that tree, and then there's another one that's shadowed right in behind. Yeah, to the tree to the right where the F is. Right in there. Down a little, right there. Yep.
Still got this one.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And there still has to be over here because they didn't really move, but they moved in. And here's an arm right here. Outline. Okay, so now we still have these. They're still there. We have this one here. But I was going to show you that this guy started moving up. You see him?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He was getting as close as he could to us. And there's here in a little bit, you'll see another one, or maybe it's just him trying to get a little bit closer to us. And this was early in the morning when everybody was getting just a little bit tired. These guys were sneaking up on us. And this was when we were coming back into Josh's house. We decided to call it the evening because we still had to get up early. And let's see, back here, remember we was over here. I don't know if you can still see this tracer or not, but we was over here when we decided to call it the night. But this guy had already moved up to here. So when we walked in like right here in front of him.
Yeah.
Remember how he was tired and sleepy, remember? So we walked right in front of him. because he was standing right here. Because I turned around and took a thermal here, and I took I think two here, and I took one to the right.
Yeah, because I know he was probably within probably 50 feet of us.
Yeah. Here's more of the foot area. Here's
Because see that's when we went inside, and it probably wasn't even 10, 15 minutes. It actually sounded like somebody had moved or bumped the casing on that air conditioner.
where outside the door.
Outside Josh's house, right there in front of his car.
Yeah, I was so tired when I got inside.
Oh,
I had it. I
I
hear
was
you.
I was still listening. Even though we were chatting a little bit, trying to wind down, I was still listening.
Oh, I guess. Yeah, I was ready for a nap because I knew we had to get up in 2 hours to get ready for the ceremony and
Yeah.
get on the road again. So I'm gonna turn this back around and get this figured out here real fast. And so I wanted to go over some thermals with you tonight, so that the let me see if I get this right. I wanted to go over the thermals with you and Malcolm and Damien, so that or Damon. So not only with you to show you what I'm seeing, because I can't send this to you right away because I want to try to get it all together. And I
Right.
just have certain numbers down right now and everything, and I got some video clips I want to put with this, and oh, it's just a lot of good stuff. And that is a confirmed. Everything there is confirmed. Plus the other places that we went to, there's all sorts of traps out here, and people just need to learn all this before they go out camping. Because if normal people would have went to the areas that we went to and would have had the problems that we went to, they would not have known to be on alert that this was a trap and that these are
Right.
hunting grounds. So, um,
I was going to say when you get that all situated, I like to get it. Send me a copy of it.
oh, definitely, definitely, I will make sure everyone on the team
Yeah.
has all the same information, so we can all look over it and go through it if we need to. I'm going to read a couple of comments, and then if there's any questions or anything, we'll have you two answer them. I'll read them out and tell you who um, asked them. Let me start off with um, and a couple of comments. Faith Walker got 1 minute about 3 a.m. and it sounded like a madhouse, like a cross between monkeys and coyotes. 6 month Rottweiler pup wouldn't go out. Called her everything. Everything called her.
Mhm.
Everything stopped. Total silence. Yes, Faith Walker, you have Bigfoots in your area. They're
Yeah.
around your house. Oh, uh, Malcolm or Damon, y'all can answer this one about what she has there.
And go ahead, Malcolm.
Yeah, exactly. You do have them in your area. Same thing happened when I walked outside my house a couple of weeks ago, like 3 o'clock in the morning. There was a bunch of going on, and as soon as I made just a slight noise, it just went quiet. So all dogs went quiet, and I think there were some other different animal sounds going on. Um, but yeah, you're exactly right by noticing that. Um, that's becoming an expert on them, learning about them. A lot of people don't pay that any attention. So that's a good job there.
Oh, I'm just reading a couple of comments to see if there's any direct questions. But a lot of questions I see people kind of talking about that we will get there to those, especially about hieroglyphic, inscriptions and Egyptian and how you'll see it's the same information, but we'll just teach you how to read the hieroglyphs so that you know what they're saying. Everybody's having some kind of awareness of their experiences. It says old story of a man protecting his family from a Sasquatch trying to run his family off his land until only had an old musket rifle. And well, the family was lucky the door held. Oh, okay. Cliff Bay says Jerry knows route where to shoot them: headshot, armpits, or if they have the arms up, genital areas and buttocks. Yes, those are the only things that's going to penetrate quickly or stop them quickly. 50 caliber, yes, CC, 50 caliber.
Like to have a couple of 50 calibers.
I know. Hopefully, well, we will the more we progress because people are going to see that we need to make sure we have protection when we're going out on these things and the right vehicles, and because we can bring back all the proof, we can bring back whatever they need. We don't need the proof, but the world seems to think that they do for some reason, and all they have to do is go outside. Really,
Yeah.
You'll find them. Just know what you're looking for, know what to listen for. But it seems like there's no direct questions about the thermals, which there should have been, as far as saying, well, no, I think we did cover pretty much everything. What to look for, how to view these things, and all of the areas that we did catch a glimpse or something. The thermals provided the proof that there were predators surrounding us. I think the count was 16.
16.
16.
Yeah.
So, but that doesn't include the coyotes. I forgot about them.
No. But like I was saying, that they were out probably 100, 150, almost 200 yards out.
So we should make another word for coyotes because that's not coyotes out there. It's a Bigfoot.
It's a I always called it, I always called it the bad coyote yelp. Because it's more of a yelp than actually what a coyote does.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to rename that something.
Did you get those audio clips I sent you?
No, I haven't really. I haven't been on Facebook today. I've been trying to go over that. Oh, I've been going over film and the thermals.
I'd send them to the email that you sent me for this link.
Okay, great. I know I can get it now. Usually when it's the messenger, it'll give me problems sometimes. But now that it's in the
You, you
email,
can you
I
can
can
hear the
download that.
cricket. Yeah, you can hear the crickets, but you can off in the distance you can hear that. You can hear that. Because with the coyote, it doesn't do that. Oh, almost like a chatter, and when they're hollering, and that's what the Bigfoot is doing. It's like kind of like a chatter. It's kind of like almost like it. It's repeating itself, and it's like, no, that's not a coyote. I've been around, I've been around people that hunted coyotes,
Mm.
hunted wild boar, and we've sat there and listened to them for hours. And so I've kind of got that, kind of got that in my, in my hearing in recorded, and that's why it's so easy. It's like, when you pull up to, a car that's missing on a spark plug, it's like, yeah, there's something wrong with your car. So I've learned how to listen and hear that, hear the audio of it, and know, that's not a coyote. That's not the behavior of a coyote. That's not a behavior of a wild hog or a boar or a deer. Because we were even hearing grunts from deer out there, and that's not the grunt, because you usually hear a grunt and then a scrape afterwards. There was no scraping afterwards, and that's was telling me, nope, that's not. You fool me. You can try, but you're not going to fool me because I know what's out there.
Yeah, the coyotes, they just did, and a lot of people don't know, not that that's not a coyote. But like we're talking about, people don't go out to learn the familiarity of their own surroundings. So whenever they get out there, whatever's out there is what they think uh, is the normal, I guess you would say. Um, but that's also another form of being transparent for them to not be that disturbance. Like whenever we go out there, we don't disturb anything, and so we're harder to pick up. But at like Josh's house, they weren't being a disturbance. They wanted to make sure you had crickets around you. They wanted to make sure you had the normal sound of a cow out there. They were making us comfortable so we could make noise. And we were actually doing the same thing for that environment. So it was kind of like a chess game for a second there because uh, we was doing what they expected us to do when we knew that that was what they expected us to do. And that's very good work for our team because that's what warriors do. If we know that enemy is right there, our observation goes up, our alert goes up. We find where they are before any moves are made. We're not going to get caught, with things coming up from the left of us to the right of us. And of course, we had those behind the bales of hay, and that area. So there was still more out there. So there's more than 16 because there were some around those bales of hay, and there was a group of them. Not to mention the ones that are on the left and right of us. I'm sure
I
there was.
think I counted three that was on the right across the driveway. That's the three that I was watching. And
Was that was that by the hay?
no, across
Across,
across the
across
other
from the
side.
hay bale.
Yeah,
Oh,
across from the neighborhood.
in that wooded area right
Mm-hmm.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
that
Oh,
that
and
little drive coming in.
okay. Now I forgot also that there was two around that drive where that young man walked up. There's a tree back there. There was two more, in those trees. And I'll show you in that film because they were going up and the eyes would move and it would
Mm-hmm.
move. I forgot there
They
was two more up there too.
they were really watching him. Every step he took, they took a half step.
So what are we up to now? 21, 20? Because you had 3, there's 2
Uh,
more, so it's 5 more, 16, 21.
21.
And that's
21.
still not counting the amount of the coyotes that were
No,
out there.
no, because I know there was 1, 2, 4 more. I know there was at least 4 more that were calling for calling like coyotes.
Maybe we can call them the boys, like a Bigfoot OY, like a coyote OY, koi,
Yeah,
big. Just call them boys. And the boys out there, because those coyotes
yeah.
were just making noise just to get us
Well, I mean
low.
that's another name for for a coyote as a coy dog.
Yeah, and I thought we just put the B in front of it for the Bigfoot because
Yeah.
they sound like them, but they're not. And we know that. So when we say the boys, we're just talking about another group that's out there that's trying to mimic coyotes. But we know all that. So um, Cliff.
Yeah, I was going to ask how if you had talked to Josh about how it's went since we left.
Okay, yeah, I haven't called him, but I will get a hold of him. And I had gave him this channel, and I was hoping he would be here tonight. But I will get a hold of him after this. I'll send him a message. He might not get a hold of me till tomorrow, but I will ask him if there's been any oddities or if everything just still sounds normal. Let's see. CC says one of the thermals looked like it had pointed ears. What do you think, Jerry? Yes, I've seen the same thing with pointed ears, and so and one of them looked like it had horns or spikes. And these things run together. I mean, you're not just going to have a Bigfoot group. You're going to have a Bigfoot. You're going to have a dog man. You're going to have a mutated because their DNA changes so much with the environment of what they're eating. And if they're moving, they're going to get different DNA as they move and walk. So you're not going to have just a group of Bigfoots. You may see hair and catch glimpses of hair and things like that, but this one may be a dog man. This may be a, mutated mix between everything, the white one, a gray one, a black one. Cliff Bay says, I heard a single coyote when leaving my friend's house overnight, and I was all partied up, so it was eerie. Just one coyote sounding off the entire 120 seconds time. I walked to my truck and got in. CC says, good deal. CC also says, I have a coyote hanging around here. Took several of my neighbor's chickens, so we are all trying to get it. I don't want it coming in my doggy door. You could be having that problem, but if you pin your chickens up and things like that, look for marks around your locks. And if your chicken wire gets ripped, see if it's pulled out or pushed in. Because if it's a dog, they're going to try to get in to your coop and then come out, and you'll see that bend. But if it's something that's just going to bust through, it's like a fist or something. It's going to be inward. So check your locks. Kathy says hello. Universe says the horns aspect is very interesting. And Cliff is saying hello, and Universe is saying hello to Kathy. So there's a lot of things that we're going to have to talk about as a group and as a team. We do have some other things that are coming up, and I'll talk with you about those. I'm still waiting on that phone call because the phone was down about a possible expedition, but like we were saying, if we did, it would be in and out, so it wouldn't be like go spend a week in the woods. We're not going to go in there and set up camp so that they can do their very best to get as close to us as possible with a whole week to do it. You know, um, so I'm going to wait on that phone call again. Hopefully, I can find my charger tonight and get my phone charged. But if not, I'm going to communicate through emails and Messenger for right now. Plus, we're going to be doing this every night at 9:30, and we'll get with. I'll have more updates tomorrow. I'm going to talk with the museum and see when they're coming up and how we could possibly get some uh, pictures and video and things like that in. Uh, I got pictures and everything. I just don't have a copy machine, but Malcolm said he has one. But I'd like to maybe just send the pictures to the museum and then maybe the museum print it out and do whatever they want to so that it doesn't cost us anything to print it out ourselves and send it in. That if they have the opportunity to go ahead and just send them, or if y'all have pictures that y'all might want to send in too, we can send them in together as a team. Instead of just an individual, we could do like a team thing, and so that we all have more information from different areas because we are from different areas, but we all have some kind of information. So if that sounds good for everybody tonight, Malcolm, Damon, if there's anything that y'all want to say as like a closing tonight, please do, and then we will see each other the next day, and we will have everything ready and up and ready for everything for tomorrow night and more information.
Just want to say night, everybody, and thanks for the support. And look forward to bring some more that we got to experience. And appreciate Jerry working so hard on getting this out to y'all.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. The other thing that I would like to see about doing maybe later on is actually kind of, maybe trying, maybe seeing about working this into later on is into maybe like a show so that we can actually show documentary on this and show that not everybody out there that's giving out information is giving the right, correct information to everyone.
Okay, so with those closing marks, Damon, that sounds like a great idea, and I hope we can get that done. And maybe someone out there might know something about, because I know that even if we was to do YouTube, we have to have at least 1,000 subscribers, and I think we're a third of the way there.
Right. And I also do have the StreamYard too, but mine is the free. I'm kind of learning it a little bit. So that way, when we do get out into the field that, we might be able to actually do a live streaming when we, go out to do another set.
Yeah, people had commented, Damon, that you would be a good broadcaster. You have a lot of knowledge, and the questions and how you ask them, that would
Yes.
be good. So, maybe we could start off with a podcast or something, and then we could all be your guest on there.
That'd be fine. That's one thing that, I will mention that, I'm on a fixed income because I'm on Social Security, but I still want to put my knowledge out there. I still want to be able to, make things known. And, I know with support and help, we can make this happen.
Yeah, and we would be the only channel who could do all this. No, I don't think any other channel, any other body as far as Bigfoot people could do anything close to what we can do, and who knows what we know. So, Faith Walker says steadily increasing subscribers. Yes, we are steadily increasing, which is good. But if we can make it to that 1,000 mark, we won't have to pay for things. We can get on through YouTube. But if we can get like a podcast or a show like Damon was talking about, uh, maybe we could reach hundreds of thousands.
Yeah.
But this is about building people to be those warriors and to know and have all the information and knowledge. Uh, so we need to reach a lot more people. So a lot of this will stop. A lot of these predators will be pushed back out of these areas where people live, children live, and we can help a lot more people be safe out there. Um, but I would like to thank everybody again for another great night. I do see a lot of things coming with this channel and the team and the group and the people who are here with us. Everyone's sharing this information. You don't get this information anywhere. This is the only place that you'll get it. We got a great team, and we would, build a bigger unit of people because of course we're going to need people helping with editing, people with accounting, things like that, because we do need some things to get on the road and to be back here safely so that we can continue these streams and hopefully podcasts and maybe some DVDs, because we do go out and get the proof and we show you where things are. No other people can do this. You're not going to see us beeping horns and wood knocking and yelling in the woods, but we will come back safely and with all the information that we was intending to go find or to go look for. Everybody in the comment section says good night. Thank you, Damon and Malcolm. They're thanking everybody for your expertise and your words. And everyone says good night. So we'll be back tomorrow. 9:30 p.m. We'll have some more updates for you, more information, more knowledge. And if you have or are a first-time subscriber or just watched a couple of the streams, please go back and watch as many as you can so that whenever we have these conversations, you'll be caught up to where we are. We still have to finish up with the Fibonacci sequence, and we'll get to that. And if I'll say it's going to take me at least a week to get all the video. And Malcolm, Damon, we'll add that to the sound because I do need that sound of the coyotes, of the dogs, grunts, anything that you have, because that night vision camera didn't pick that up. Not unless I just got the wrong button on it or something.
Well, I also what I've got on there is the crickets, the what is it? The well, you call them locusts, but we call them, Katie, Katie's.
Mm-hmm.
And you can also hear in the background, you could hear the coyote in the background. You can hear the dog in the background.
All right. And that's on some of the ones that you sent?
There's three clips. One is 23 seconds. Another one is like 16 seconds. Another one's like 15 seconds.
Okay.
But you can loop that sound when you pull it off there. You can actually loop it to where it'll continuously playing as you're showing the images.
Yeah. And it is something to identify an area like that, as far as all this being a trap, a perfect trap of lulling the people who live in those areas to make the sound of the forest, to make it sound like there's nothing going on when there is no food. Not even the crickets are in that area, but they make it sound just like nothing's wrong. I mean, they build a perfect trap for everybody. So I want to end right there. I want to thank you two for your help, and we're going to be doing this more. Let me see what I got for tomorrow, because I want to look over some more videos, some more night vision. I think that since it is a Bigfoot channel also, that until we can get people all the information with the night vision and the sounds that you have and things like that so they can know what to listen for. We'll do this for maybe 2 or 3 days and then we'll move back into the teachings, like back into the classroom.
Sure.
Kind of like Malcolm said, it's kind of like what'd you say, the movie Indiana Jones or
Mhm.
something. And it was kind of like,
Mhm.
well, before we go, um, if you could expand on that, because you was talking as like Indiana Jones or the feel
Well,
or
it was, when we made it down, you had on the way down from the mountain, um, the increased alertness, increased a little bit of anxiety, um, and everything is like one point Damien told me that as we were rolling down, he could see like the shoulder of one looking out behind the tree. And he's like, hurry, hurry, go, 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 And I think we were all wanting to get off that mountain pretty quick at that
yeah,
time because of the situation we were in.
yep.
And when we finally got down to the base there, farm place at the main highway, it was like a sigh of relief, kind of like when at one of the end of Indiana Jones runs, like from the big boulder or whatever it was. We got down there and we were exhausted, but we were relieved. And then we still had to drive. I think it was like 25 miles to go get a tire, and so it really lasted till we got back to Talahena
Yep.
before everybody really kind of relaxed.
Mhm.
So it's kind of like that.
Yeah.
It was stress. The stress. We knew where we were. We knew what situation we were in,
Hmm.
but we knew how to deal with it,
Yeah.
and we were able, like you said, we were all made it home. We all made it safe.
Hmm.
But this that area, I seen the pictures that you sent with the
Like the
rod,
hut.
the
Yeah.
hut, and the rod
Yeah, where they hang
sticking
the
out.
meat.
After I looked at those pictures and stuff, I could see the translucent ones
Yeah.
that were there.
Yep. I didn't say anything
And
about that, but yeah.
yeah, and so we know what we're putting ourselves into, and it is not just a walk in the park on a sunshiny day. It's real easy to be like we didn't know. We knew we was in that kind of area and situation, but we learned something about the vehicle. We can be prepared, but we need our vehicles prepared for it too,
Sure do.
Yeah.
because that can mean our lives. You know,
Yep.
we had we would have been in bad shape. We would have one more flat on either car vehicle.
Yeah.
Or if Damon had a flat, yeah.
Yeah.
Or
So that's kind of what I meant. It was like
if like you really don't know how to respond to that, but we handled the situation, I guess you would say.
right,
Yeah. We
right,
did.
But and that's why a lot of people need to share this channel and go back and read those things so that you recognize your situation, you recognize what you just went into, you recognize traps, you recognize, and when you recognize those traps, you're going to get out of there. I mean, you're going to make it out because not to go further, not to go further up the mountain, not to get into a darker place. You know that if there's this many traps around you, it's time to, go back the other way, because don't go further into a trap. Don't get, herded
Right.
further into it. So,
Right.
uh, I want to thank both of y'all for being out here tonight. I know I keep saying that, so we can go, but it's always something else. One more thing that we need to talk about. And but we've got a lot more to talk about, and we will pick up tomorrow also because we will have more videos, more photos to show and things like that. Now that I know I can pull the screen over and use another one, I can show video that way also tomorrow. So, and I thought I was going to have to edit the whole thing, but this way I could just show the video, turn it back around, and we could talk about it. But that's what we'll be doing tomorrow. And if you two are both available tomorrow, I'd like to have y'all on again tomorrow, and we'll go over some more video and film to help more people and show them through experience and through actual videos of what to do and how to do it. And hopefully, I think I've got some pictures of us around those traps. So I'm going to bid everybody farewell for tonight. Malcolm and Damon, y'all have a great night.
Definitely.
Yeah, go too.
And I'll see y'all tomorrow night, and everyone else at 9:30 tomorrow night. We've got still a lot more to talk about tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll have more film on the Bigfoot and where we were and the situations we were in. But we all came home safe. We all knew what we were doing, and we will all see you again tomorrow night. I'll see y'all guys. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
And